Another attempt to crack the Chinese market, we look at the industry chatter surrounding Facebook's latest effort. And it was designed to protect your privacy, but a few smartphone apps have been caught not delivering on the caller ID function. Now, do you know who has your number? Some apps aimed at protecting the privacy of users appear to be doing the opposite. The apps let people know who's calling them when an unknown number appears on their phone, but they also help themselves to data from people's contact books. From Hong Kong, Helly Chung explains why that's causing people to lose sleep over their privacy.
Don't you just hate getting calls from people you don't know? Well, there are several apps that can help you identify who's calling, or block calls from numbers you don't like. Apps like Truecaller, Sync.me and CM Security have millions of users. But there is a catch. These apps have huge databases of phone numbers, but they come from a range of sources, including from their users' contact lists. And that means that if you download the app, all your friends could end up in a publicly searchable database, whether they like it or not. Once they're in the system, people can find out their names by looking up their phone numbers. Investigative journalists from FactWire even found the name of Hong Kong's chief executive, Leung Chun-ying, in the database, as well as other top politicians. CM Security now says it's stopping its reverse lookup function while it addresses privacy concerns.
As Helly mentioned, FactWire News Agency broke the story. Earlier, I spoke to the company's founder, Dong Nung, and asked how he came to uncover the discrepancy.
Personal experience of women told to one of our FactWire reporters earlier last month. She used her mobile phone to call taxis one day in Hong Kong, and when she get into the taxi driver can call her name, and even scary as he can identify which company she works for. So she tried to find out and asked the taxi driver how he could possibly do that. And the taxi driver revealed that he had downloaded an call ID app, CM Security, on his mobile. So whoever called his mobile phones, he could be able to identify who that person is, or even some personal data included in the app's database. So our investigative reporters start to look into this app, CM Security, and later we find out that some other similar apps like Truecaller and Sync.me have similar function with very popular users across the world.
That's quite frightening. How many people are affected by this?
It's difficult to say, but according to data released by the free apps, is over 3 billion database has been included in their cloud server. So it's a very huge database across every countries in the world.
So what can people do to protect themselves?
Truecaller and Sync.me has provided means on their websites for anyone to request to remove their personal data from the server. But CM Security does not have provided this means until FactWire has reviewed this story, and they release 3 separate press release after the FactWire story, and the latest one just released yesterday. They promised to provide a means for anyone to request to remove their data from the database, but so far until this morning we still cannot see these means available on their website.